Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez.
And I'm Kevin Friel. We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website. Log on at www.town.barnstable.ma.us.
The Town Council meets this week, and as is usually the case here on Barnstable Today, Kevin Friel sat down with Assistant Town Manager Tom Lynch for a preview of Thursday night's agenda. But today is also Election Day across the Commonwealth, with Martha Coakley and Scott Brown vying for the late Ted Kennedy's longtime U.S. Senate seat. So, on this Election Day, Kevin also picked the assistant manager's brain to get some insight as to what it feels like to be in a candidate's shoes as the votes are being cast.
I want to hear your perspective on the current election that's taking place to fill the statewide Senate seat today.
Well, it's clearly been a vigorous election, and having been through them before, this for a candidate is really the culmination of all the work and all the effort supporters have put in. The best time of the day, though, is when 8 o'clock comes and the polls are closed, because there's nothing else you can do. You just wait till the count comes, and you hope that you've done your best and you've got it in the hands of the voters, and let them make their choice.
Okay, you have been an elected member of the Assembly of Delegates, and you kind of hit on this a little bit. And what's your perspective as being a candidate on this day? And you were just talking about it a moment, but could you just highlight what the candidates are feeling right now?
Well, there's a lot of nervous energy because naturally, as I just indicated, you put a lot of time into this, and it's your name out there, and you're on the line, and people are choosing you or the other guy, and you hope that you've got your message out there. It's how you spend the day, though, it's curious. Sometimes candidates will try to go to as many polls as they can. Other times they'll be. I always used to like to stay in one area, just kind of concentrate on one particular, precinct. Others may crisscross the state or make some personal phone calls. Some take the day off because their supporters are out there holding the signs and doing whatever. It's a whole host of things that people can do. The most important thing is that supporters just realize that they go in, they vote, they try not to disrupt the election process. All the polls, the wardens all have their rules as to where you can stand, and supporters will get enthusiastic, and there shouldn't be any posting on websites or signs put in inappropriate places. Let the process go. We've all had a chance to be lobbied by both sides, and now we just let us go make our decisions.
I just want to go back a little bit. This election today is to fill the Senate seat of Edward M. Kennedy, who filled 3 years of his 6-year term, and these candidates will fill the other 3 years. I just want to get your thoughts on Ted Kennedy, and everybody sort of has a Ted Kennedy story, and we'd just like to hear what yours might be.
Well, I saw him on a variety of occasions, of course. I remember when I had just been elected in 1976, I met him over by the Dunkin' Donuts near C Street there and on Main Street, and he was crossing over to the West End Market, and I saw him and I just said, "Senator, now I just want you to know that I'm your state rep now, so if you need anything, just let me know." He looked at me like, "And you who?" But we had seen each other at a couple of different events. But he's missed greatly, I think, and his legacy will live on with all the good deeds that he did.
Absolutely. And well, now let's move into the Town Council meeting. This Thursday, the 21st, 7 o'clock. The Council will be hearing from Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority Representative Tom Cahere, and he's put he was here in Town Hall last week. Why don't you tell us what he told you guys about?
Tom stopped by last week to introduce himself and say hello, although he need no introduction to us because I served with his father in the state legislature, and John served with Tom in the legislature. So Tom knows transportation. He's very enthusiastic about improving public transportation here on the Cape. He's got a lot of good ideas and good energy, and I think he's coming to the council to introduce himself to the members. Let them know Mark Ells is our representative on the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. Let them know that we're working well together, and I'm sure that President Chirigotis will do whatever he can do to work with Tom to make public transportation available for our residents.
Absolutely. Now, it's kind of a light agenda compared to some town council, but there's still a lot to it. Still, but first, we'd like to talk about the community preservation set-aside of the $350,000 for affordable housing. And could you tell us about the project that the money's for and what the project is?
It's for 12 units of housing at Stagecoach Road in Centerville. The $350,000 is coming from community preservation funding. That money will be used along with Mass House. It's really a $3 million project, so this is just a small percentage of the overall project. But it'll be used to, for 1 and 2 bedroom units, and it's a development that will be managed by the and developed by the Barnstable Housing Authority, and hopefully it'll serve people between 30 and 60% of median income, people who are working in a variety of jobs throughout the Cape. So this money will help with the overall cost of the project. And
the next thing we want to talk about is the new formulation of a Renewable Energy Commission. Could you tell us the genesis of that?
Well, the town manager committed to being a green community, and one of the requirements in his State of the Town address, and one of the requirements of the Green Communities Act is to create a Renewable Energy Commission. Actually, we have our own green team that's been in place for some time, but this would be a standing committee of the town council. There'd be a 9-member commission, and it would be appointed by the town council. So I'm sure the commission will debate its role and how it'll interact with the community, but the citizens, the towns that have used citizens groups like this have really helped advance their energy conservation and renewable energy agenda. So we're hoping that we'll have that sort of citizen input to help us.
Well, we just have a little bit over a minute left here on our interview, and the next item is the schedule of fees, but as I know that is postponed.
That's going to get postponed, and they'll go right into the next item, which is from the school department, where they're asking to use $1.3 million from a capital set-aside that they have when they sold the grade 5 school. And they'd like to use that money for boiler replacement at the Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter Public School, which is the old High East. That system has been in place since 1951. It uses a number 4 grade oil. They'd like to bring it up to modern times and to be able to use either gas or oil. So it's a unique system they'd be using, and the school committee and the school superintendent will be asking the council for permission to use the money for that purpose.
Well, Tom, wrapping up here, why don't we hear your final thoughts on the town council meeting that's coming up, and I
think it's they've got 3 important. It's a small agenda, but they've got 3 important items plus the visit from Tom Kerr, the administrator of the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, and I think it'll be an interesting meeting for members to watch.
The Town Council isn't the only group meeting this week. Let's take a look at this week's list of meetings. For Tuesday, January 19th, the Airport Commission meets at 6 p.m. in the Gorley Conference Room at the airport. Then at 6:30, the Conservation Commission has a meeting in the Town Hall hearing room. On to Wednesday's meetings. We have the amnesty hearings in the Town Hall hearing room starting at 6 p.m. At 7 o'clock, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Committee meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Then at 7:30 at the Marine and Environmental Affairs Building on Finney's Lane, the Shellfish Committee meets, and wrapping up the week on Thursday the 21st is the Town Council meeting in the Town Hall hearing room at 7 o'clock.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. For Kevin Friel, I'm Nick Cortez. We'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.